Dude, that blue lipstick stain on the glass is really a unique detective clue. Clearly, the mysterious death of his parents is somehow linked to Zila and his family, so the next morning, Mengzi couldn't wait to storm the casino. The girl in front was marking the cards with her finger wounds, but that was no match for Mengzi's sharp eyes. She smeared blood with her broken finger. Just as Mengzi was about to leave, he found Zila and his student council laid in wait. Zila invited him to join the Spades again, but Mengzi said he wasn't interested in getting duped a third time. Zila decided to go all in and had Suchai start the icebreaker round. Before Ryan could intervene, Mengzi jumped at the challenge. Suchai explained the icebreaker round was digging up dirt on opponents before the game. Then they'd use the secrets to attack. Whoever had a heart rate over 85 would lose. And Suchai had Zila behind her. Digging up dirt was easy for him as a social media influencer. He feared no backlash, remaining unbeaten. Mengzi, however, left the cafeteria with confidence and headed to the library, looking for secrets about the Suchai family much quieter than the casino. Suchai ran into Mike, who was there to study. A plan hatched in Mengzi's mind, but first, he needed to verify Mike's reliability. The next afternoon, Mengzi returned to the casino. As he was to sit, Mary unexpectedly wished him good luck. Then Mengzi strapped on his heart rate monitor, and since Suchai's heart rate was lower, he got the first attack. How were you scared in school? Mengzi shrugged it off, and his heart rate kept dropping. Turns out he had Mike set up a fake story in advance. Using his hacker skills, he spun a story on social media that misled Suchai, who similarly had a feed full of lies. This left both parties in a stalemate, and then Mengzi suddenly realized his lucky coin from his mom was missing. He turned to Mary, she was the thief. At that moment, Suchai called her mini-me over and handed her a box filled with all sorts of nails winnings from her challenges. This kind of gamble got Mengzi all hyped up, but then Suchai brought up his parents' topic, pulling at Mengzi's heartstrings and sending him spiraling. Pressed by Suchai, her heart rate neared 85, forcing the referee to halt the round. Mengzi relaxed and looked at Mike in the crowd. The crowd at the scene started placing the bets one after another, with no one believing that Mengzi would win this round. However, just the next second, a video popped up on the electronic screen. Subtitles. It turns out that Suchai was actually a real manly man in her youth, and her online image as an animal protector instantly collapsed. Suchai struggled to keep her cool, but Mengzi stepped next to her and said, "The game's over, just hear me out. Tell her good job, okay?" Suchai, unfazed, tried to find an exit. Ryan picked up the lucky coin that fell on the ground, while Mengzi cheekily left a lipstick mark on her face. The next morning, the school intercom blared bad news. Yesterday's challenger Suchai had passed away suddenly from a heart attack. Clearly, she fell victim to fate. But can Mengzi avenge his parents? The once undefeated gambler now found himself at rock bottom overnight. To make matters worse, he had to endure the student council's ridicule. This all traces back to last night's dance party. Mengzi was coerced by Zila into a high-stakes gamble with Ryan for a whopping 100,000 points, which didn't sit well with him. But he intentionally lost to Ryan. However, soon after, he'd end up regretting tonight's decision. Mary informed him that today was the last day of the semester. The school board will invite the top 10 student council members for an in-person talk. They are big shots. Zila's dad would also be there, but only 8 hours left until the deadline. Time sell. Soon time hit the last hour and a half, and Zila orchestrated a blackout to stop Mengzi. Unfortunately, the school was full of talent. The boy's brain was like a human calculator, and he had everyone's scores memorized. Mengzi had yet to shake off his underdog status, but just then, Ryan sat across from him and pulled out some chips. Mengzi finally shook off his underdog status, but just as he was about to make his move, Zila stormed in with her crew, catching sight of the leaderboard. At that moment, Mary was in 12th place. With just one high-stakes match, she could enter the student council. Under Zila's encouragement, Mary boldly challenged Mengzi to a guillotine match, and Mengzi was pumped like a firework. According to the rules, each player stuck a finger into the guillotine and took turns cutting the ropes. Last one to pull back wins. It was a game of guts and reflexes, and Mengzi plunged his finger in without hesitation. As it turns out, Zila had already devised a plan for Mary, putting in an invisible barrier. so the blade wouldn't hurt her finger, making Mary a guaranteed winner. But after all that time together, she'd shed her card shark ways. Tonight, she just wanted to win fair and square against Mengzi, so she secretly removed the barrier, and as the blade sliced through the ropes, their hearts were in their throats. Soon, fear transformed into excitement until the last 2 ropes were cut and the power returned. The crowd watched the screen as Mary climbed to 9th place. She had finally stepped from underdog status into the student council. Just as Zila was about to announce the final results, Mengzi suddenly interrupted her, a sense of ominous foreboding welling up in his heart. "You know, there's a saying that's just creepy," he said with a smirk, causing Mary to visibly tense up. He took out a note from his pocket. Zila received it, and the contents made her completely speechless. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting content you won't want to miss.